again, world. Haven't seen you guys for a long time. I've had a hell of a week and haven't made very many videos, and so I thought I'd do a week's catch up, let you know I'm still trekking. Still trucking, as Jade says. Anyway, so it is day 58. It is Saturday, probably the 18th of August, something like that. And the week started with the most fantastic wedding in Wales. Thank you so much to Emma and Bob, gorgeous bride and groom. You guys are just absolutely fabulous, and I'm so very, very, very happy for you both. It was just an exquisite weekend. It went like clockwork. Such a great gang of people together, all celebrating your special day. And thank you so much for inviting me. The little dude Tam came to swiftly lift me off the road on the Friday, and we went at warp speed over to the west coast of Wales. Caught up with the whole Welsh Massive were there, basically, more or less, just such a lovely weekend. It was so good to see, obviously, Matthew, and it's people like you that give people like me a bad name. And oh, by the way, nice hat, thanks. And I had a really good giggle with you. It was great to see, obviously, Gez, as always, and the beautiful Lorna, and even more beautiful Millie, Dee Dee and Adley. Good to have a little dance with them. And then the list goes on. It's good to see Lisa and Sandra and Sean, and obviously had lots of giggles with Lorna and Tam. Great to find, and Izzy as well, so glad to see her again. And lovely to meet another dude, Mel. She's a dude. Hilarious time. And then obviously Spot. Great to see Ruben and JB. Oh god, it just goes on. Oh, my favourite wench, bar wench, my little partner in crime behind the bar, Sam. Great to meet you. And Squilly, and oh, it just goes on. It was such a great, fantastic, wonderful weekend, and it was so good to be part of it. Thank you, Emma and Bob. But after 55 or 53 days of walking, I was feeling pretty fit and healthy. 3 days in the Welsh Hills, or on the Welsh coast, and I was broken. So I was very kind to see, very good to see Sally and Nick, and Sally's mum Mary, who kindly put me up the night before I got back on the road, and then dropped me back on the road just past before Chester, as everybody was heading towards beds and a bit of a recovery period. I started walking in the hot sunshine, which I can tell you was it's good fun. And it made even better by the fact that as I was walking into Chester, towards Chester, this crazy girl came running over. It turned out to be a lady called Kaz, who's hanging out with a guy called Prajna in a self-made camp. Basically, they're doing this, trying to get out of the system, and I met a whole load of their friends, which was really great, including IM, who just sent me, actually spoke to you today, with some lovely kind words. And their website might be worth looking out. It's www.tomboy-pink.co.uk. Just trying to look for, it won't be for everybody's cup of tea, but trying to look at a new way of being, which is quite cool. Anyway, took me down into Chester, met up with another dude, long-haired dude called Alistair, who very kindly put me up in the Chester Backpackers, and also sorted me out with some food. Left out a little half bottle of Lusac Saint-Emilion, so I had a little bit of red wine with my pasta dinner. Lovely guy called Ewan Foley, archaeology student, good chat with him from Edinburgh. And Chester was pretty poosh, but really good fun. Then had a lovely message from a friend of Sam's, thank you Sam again, called Karen, or aka Cosmic, who kindly came in the morning in Chester and bought me Beggs Benedict in the cafe food, which was awesome and great to meet her. She's a theatre nurse, so as with all theatre nurses, a good proper dark sense of humour, I like it. And then I went to collect Charlie. Now Charlie is an artist who I met in Carlisle, showed me her exhibition up there, and she was really, I don't know, inspired to kind of get involved and see what it was like. So she decided to come along and join me for a couple of days, which was awesome, and I'll get back to that in a minute. So all of those up to there, Chester, I hope I'm not forgetting any names. So anyway, so me and Charlie then got on the road, and poor old Charlie had a baptism of, well, we'll say baptism of fire, but it was actually a baptism of rain. It rained all day, but fortunately we managed to find a canal. He walked all the way down the canal. Oh, and the phone's ringing. I wonder if this is anyone I should speak to. Oh, it is. It might be my, this might be a place to stay tonight. Bear with me, watch this. Hello, Bex. Hi, how are you? I'm in about 7 miles away from Shrewsbury. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a shower there? Fantastic. That's amazing. That's not a problem. A couple more miles on the end of today, it's alright. It's about 20 miles today, so another 2 miles won't be too bad. I tell you what, I'm literally right by the side of the road now. Are you available to speak to in a couple of minutes, or about 10 minutes? Cool. I'll give you a bell back, and we'll go through directions and stuff. Cool. That's amazing, Bex. You're wonderful. You're a star. All right. I'll speak to you in a bit. Bye. Well, there you go. That is Bex, and she lives on a commune just south of Shrewsbury. And the last place I stayed, Charlotte and Connie recommended her, and she's just called to say you can come and stay, and so that's really cool. I'm just going to check see if it's still recording because of the batteries. Oh yes, and 7 minutes of basically talking about nothing. So, where was I? Okay, so Charlie and I started heading down the canal, and it rained, and it rained and it rained and it rained and it rained. But we were really looked after by Annette from in the Shady Oak, who and her girls in there gave us chip butties and a couple of pints, which sorted us right out. And sorry about leaving grass all over the floor in there, but that was perfect. And then we headed into Tarporley. Now Tarporley is quite a posh place as well, and the first couple of places that Charlie and I went into, black looks, not getting it at all. And I have to admit, you know, Charlie's parents live just about 40 miles down the road, and I have a funny feeling they were probably a little concerned that Charlie was hanging out with this strange guy just walking without any money. So her mum had said wherever, if there was a problem, they would come and get her and get us. So there was a bit of a safety net there, yeah. But the most important thing is, I've never actually been with anybody. I've walked with other people, but they've usually found accommodation themselves, bought it, or tent, you know, camp or something like that. I've never been in with anybody trying to find out to see whether the dynamic changes if there's two people asking for help, you know? Anyway, so we finally went into this place called the Swan, very upmarket, and we're introduced to a guy called Carl with a K, and he is the manager there. And he came up, and he smiled and he listened, and Charlie had pointed out in the car park there were Mercedes, and he got his red book out with all the bookings. He looked down it, and I thought, I've seen this hundreds of times. They look down the booking books, they don't show you it, and then they go, oh no, sorry, we're totally full. And but no, it just goes, yeah, got a twin room for you if you want it. And it was like that, and I turned to Charlie, and there it was. Someone else with me witnessing that amazing thing, and I said, are the hairs standing up on the back of your neck? She said, yes. And it was just, oh, it was genius. It was genius to be able to share that moment. And so he took us upstairs with the keys. Lovely two twin beds with you know, like sleigh beds, beautiful room, ensuite. And then he goes, right, breakfast 7 till 11. Oh, and you'll be wanting dinner tonight as well. So our restaurant downstairs, just come down, order whatever you like, put it on the room, and then with that went off downstairs, and literally, we're just standing there going, oh my goodness. I mean, this is one of the nicest places I've ever been to. So we had showers, we went downstairs, had the most gorgeous dinner, started with a lazy fondue. I mean, I shouldn't go into it, but a bottle of Merlot whiskies afterwards. And he said, yeah, he came out, said, you got to have some dessert, it's amazing. And it was just really amazing. I mean, just so wonderful to share it with someone and get someone else to see what that magic was like. Anyway, next day, got up, great breakfast. So thanks to Carl, and thanks to Beth and Phil and Amelia and all the others at the Swan. You're all legendary. Then we carried on walking and the weather became great and it was beautiful. We carried on walking down toward Nantwich along the canal, and we met a lovely family, the Bradley family. I believe it's Mike, Joan, Katie and Jenny and their lovely dog Rosie, who, because they were doing a canal boat along, so they would pass us and then we would pass them, and they gave us some lovely chocolate biscuits to start with, and later on it was orange juice, and we had a lovely chat. They were just really awesome people. And then we found a little place called the Waterside Cafe with Rick, Pip and Anne-Marie, who gave us some lunch, which was awesome. And then we finally ended up in Audlam, where Charlie's dad, Andy, arrived to come and pick us up, take us to their place so I could get to meet them. And Andy, big heavy-set guy, turns out to be, he's my new name, is Super Dad. He flies hot air balloons for a living. Well, in fact, all the family are involved in the business. And took us back to Cher Rawson to meet the super mum that is Mags. Fantastically welcoming, gorgeous woman. She does a lot of walking too. She's like, big hug, come in, first thing, beer in the hand, and just the most fantastically warm welcome. And I think then they relaxed and they thought that this crazy pilgrim who just encouraged their daughter to head off onto the road without any money, it was probably okay, you know. Anyway, so then we had a lovely dinner. John, his wife, came, and Joe, and we had a real laugh, and it was just a cracking evening. Another late one, and anyway, up in the morning, and then I had been talking to this girl called Katie. Now, Katie got in contact and she said she wanted to do an interview for a local paper, or like her magazine or whatever. Anyway, turns out that Katie is 16, sorry, going to be 17 in a month's time. I know, that's really important, Katie. And she lives in Peterborough, miles away. And she just said, though, she really wants to come meet me and say hello, because last year she organised stuff to do with Peace One Day, and this year she's doing more stuff. I was like, right, that's what it's all about, young people encouraging, fostering that energy and so forth. So she jumped on a train. I actually spoke to her mum, Anne, just to make sure everything was alright, and Charlie and Andy agreed to meet me there at the station as well, at Crewe Station. So we went off to Crewe Station, met Katie off the train, and I was very, very impressed. I've now nicknamed her Katie Potential Pulitzer Phipps, because her interview technique is probably one of the best. I've done quite a few interviews now, and actually I think, hands down, she's the best. She could be a proper journalist. So thank you, Katie, for coming and showing support. Thank you, Anne, her mum, for giving her some cash so that she could buy us some lunch, which was really lovely. And we put Katie back on the train, then Charlie went straight back on her train up to Carlisle, and me and Andy drove back to where I'd left the walk, Audlam, to carry on walking. So that was just an amazing set of days, and you know, amazing set of people. I suppose if there has to be highlights, you know, the highlight has to be sharing that moment with Charlie, where Carl just turned around and said, yeah, I'll look after you. That was pretty awesome, and I'm really glad I got to share it with you, Charlie. Anyway, so I then carried on from Audlam down the canal, and as I was walking along, met a lovely young guy called Luke, really young guy with his little dog called Wally, who's just started living on a little boat for the last 3 months. Had a chat about that, and then carried on walking, found a couple called Colin and Sheila, who were trying to salvage this boat which had lost its rigging, so I helped them, and because I was helping them, met a lovely farmer who owns that bit of land, and was talking to them about where to stay. And actually it goes back to the fact that Andy had bought a share in a community farm called Fordall. Now I know Fordall Farm because it was on a programme by Rebecca Hoskin, who I know from Devon. Anyway, he mentioned it. I spoke to these two, Colin and Sheila, and they went, yeah, we know them, my son's volunteering there. So it ended up being taken over to this farm to meet the lovely Charlotte and her mum Connie, and Phil, and Orich, who is from the Basque country, who's staying there and volunteering. And it's an amazing farm, all cooperatively owned, one farmer, 8,000 landlords is the quote. You've got to check it out, Fordall Farm. I have a sneaky suspicion as well that Tim Crabtree, the guy I worked with Tim Salmon on the Social Forestry Project, helped with setting up their Industrial Providence Society and doing their share dividends and stuff. So a very, very small world. Anyway, lovely Arich cooked me this gorgeous pork right from the farm, dinner and stuff like that in the porter cabin, bit of a bed, and then up this morning Colin picked me up to take me back to where I'd started to carry on walking again, and that brings me to today. And I've been walking all day, and I've done about 16 miles. I've got another 15 miles. I've got another about 7 miles to do. Just had that call from Bex, maybe I should stop and get directions from her. That's probably quite a good idea, well, without dying in the middle of the road. I just stopped at the Fox and Hound to recharge my batteries on the phone, and Tina, who I just was trying to recharge my batteries, Tina, lovely Tina, and Sophie, they just bought me a fish finger sandwich in this gastropub. Now, someone mentioned fish finger sandwich the other day. I've never had one. It was delicious. Fish finger sandwiches, amazing. Anyway, so off to Shrewsbury now. Montgomery probably tomorrow. I don't know where it is after that. Knighton, I think, to meet someone called Marianne, and then we shall see. But remember, this very long-winded message is all about Global Truce 2012. It's not long until the day. I think it's only about 34 days till Global Truce, 21st of September. Don't forget, we all have to mark it. This is what this walk is all about. 21st of September. Katie's doing it. She's putting on a whole load of activities at her school, including the debate and showing the films. And it's just something we all need to do. If we make our voices heard as a holistic grassroots whole, the people in power will listen. They will come on board. There are 540 organisations already on board underneath the coalition, under the Peace One Day coalition. In 2007 in Afghanistan, on one single day, 1.5 million kids were vaccinated against polio in one day. One day makes a difference. Peace isn't going to happen overnight. Let's get one day right. 21st of September. Make peace with someone near you. Go for a walk. Orich is going to do a meditate. You know, the seeds are being planted, and you know, it's really, really important. But for now, next to this lovely busy A54 or something like that, maybe I'll get a motorbike next time. Anyway, for now, from me and this week's worth of amazing people that have made this happen, I'm going to sign off and find out where I'm staying tonight with another bunch of complete strangers who are going to show me kindness. That's what it's all about. So for now, peace out, people.